Morning, everyone. That was an eventful race. Oh my. Lando Norris is the world champion. 100% official because, you know, the checks have happened. There's going to be no Vegas disqualification stuff. Everything is done and dusted. The celebrations have all happened. And wow. What a way to do it. Now, for all of the keen OG subscribers on this channel, you'll notice the wall is slightly different. However, I'm actually in the second background I started using, because the first background I believe was my uni house. Then this is my family, like, you know, the house I grew up in. And normally I'm in the house that I live in now. But yeah, bringing it back to the OG place because I was with family watching the F1 race, and I'll actually show a video of just how excited I got at the end of that race. Wait, come on, Norris! Norris is engine smoking on 3 more tons of baby cakes.
Led the championship for longer than any other driver this season. He has to settle for second place, and that time.
Yeah! Come on, Lando! Where is he? Lando! Come on, Lando! Yeah, I was getting pretty excited, and maybe I did have a few drinks while the race was going along, and that's why this race review is going to be slightly different, because I'm coming in straight away, and I can tell you, midfield and back of the grid, I can honestly remember a few things that happened in that race, but obviously just because of how chaotic it was up front and how much focus there was up front, you will notice that a lot of the time on the F1 broadcast as well, you got the small screen for if anything was happening lower down the grid. Because actually, I know Alonso had loads of overtakes, had a half-decent race as well, getting into the points. But I don't even remember seeing that once, not gonna lie. But let's go back to the start of the race, because that was so scary. Obviously, you know coming into this race that turn 1 was going to be big. Now, Lando, actually, from the first point of view that I saw, looked like Lando had a bad start, but actually, he had a good start, all things considered. But Verstappen covered him off perfectly, cut onto the inside, which is what he needed to do, and Norris then had to go around the outside, which then led to later on Piastri getting a better run on him, and Piastri eventually being close to Norris, and knowing that Norris wasn't gonna fight for his position too much from second to third, that meant Piastri went through on the hards. Now, at this point in the race, I actually thought Piastri had a higher chance of winning than Verstappen, because Piastri was within 2 seconds of Verstappen on the hards, and I was adamant that once Piastri got onto the mediums, if he was doing the same sort of strategy as Verstappen and Norris, that he would be able to stay close enough to Verstappen to charge up to try and get that first place. But of course, McLaren actually went for the alternate strategy of basically just hoping for a safety car, which I can understand as well. It wasn't the worst strategy, but I sort of would have liked to have seen what he could have done with a normal stop from hards to mediums, because he did look like he was pretty pacey today, and he very much deserves that second place. And I mean, that's sort of spoilers for the rest of the race. Yeah, Verstappen did win from Piastri to Norris. Of course, Norris world champion. You knew he was going to be in the top 3. But then, honestly, for the rest of the race, it was Charles Leclerc giving me a nightmare, from Lando Norris in P3 to Charles Leclerc in P4, because George Russell had a stinker as well at the start of the race, dropping down to around P6, and it was Leclerc, Alonso, Russell. But Leclerc just had so much pace today. I don't know where that came from Ferrari, because even Hamilton didn't have the worst race considering where he started. But that Ferrari finally had another half-decent race weekend. Yeah, and Charles Leclerc was just all over him for most of the race, and it was giving me a heart attack. He had a look around the outside in Sector 2 heading into Sector 3, and it was juicy. It was so good. And I can't tell you, like, considering what Abu Dhabi can be like occasionally, it actually was a good race. And it wasn't just because of, like, all of the championship hopes for Verstappen, Piastri, Norris going on as well. It just was a good race. I mean, even then, when Norris pitted, and I was so nervous because Norris pitted, and it very much felt early. It very much felt like they were covering off Russell instead of focusing ahead of them. And also because of where he got pitted out into. He got pitted into four-way traffic with, of all people, Liam Lawson defending it. We saw what he can do in Brazil, plus a Racing Bulls driver. I thought, oh my word, this is this is potentially a world championship defining moment if Norris can't get past them. And I have to say, I think we saw the best overtaking movement from Lando Norris in his career for those 4 drivers. He put balls to the wall and just let it all loose. That double overtake on the end over Stroll and Lawson, absolutely incredible. And hey, I have to give the same amount of credit to Charles Leclerc behind him, because then Charles Leclerc went, Lando Norris can do this, anything you can do, I can do better. And it did the exact same thing a lap or so later. Beautiful racing to watch. It was just phenomenal. Like, seeing Norris, Leclerc, even Russell to an extent, charging through the field was just so beautiful. And then obviously after all of those overtaking masterclasses from Norris and Leclerc, up next was Yuki Tsunoda, and there was some team radios coming through that was scaring me, because they were like, you know what to do, Yuki, you know what to do, keep it behind. And my did it get close. Yuki was weaving all over the place. Norris did go off the track and overtook him. Now, this is probably the most controversial moment of the actual race. Was it Norris's penalty? Was it Yuki's penalty? And I will admit, Yuki was driving a little bit erratically, so a little bit of issue from Yuki's side there. But also, Norris definitely had enough space to just keep one or that teeny tiniest bit of will on the actual track. So I think they both made a few issues from something that just wasn't necessary. But for me, honestly, I wouldn't even give a penalty for Yuki. You've got to understand, it's a racing incident. Yuki's doing what the team asked him to do. Norris is just making sure he doesn't get crashed into. For me, both of them didn't deserve a penalty, and the FIA should have just gone about their day. The reason they didn't give Norris penalties is because they didn't want to ruin the championship rundown, even though with that 5 second he still would have come third. And again, you've got the whole situation of, if he did get a 5 second penalty, I full-heartedly believe McLaren would have used Piastri to back up Leclerc or whatnot. But yeah, it got very, very spicy, and wow, could that have ended a lot worse? And Yuki's team radio, when he found out he got a penalty, very, very Kimi Raikkonen-esque. It was very funny. And then, of course, like I mentioned, with Piastri holding it up front. So it was just such a brilliant race to watch. And it was such a weird feeling, because it's one of those races where I think Max Verstappen has completely shown everyone why he is the best on the grid, and by some country mile at the minute, finishing only 2 points behind Lando Norris. Lando just clinching that third. I know a lot of people have talked about, now that Antonelli 3 points matter and all of that such. And I'd say 2 things to that. The first one is, realistically, if it did come down to this, they probably wouldn't have pitted Norris again. Or if they did pit Norris again, they would have told Piastri to let Norris through, and Norris would have won anyway. So again, that 3 points system doesn't matter too much. We go back to Monza as well, same situation as well. If Antonelli didn't make that mistake, or if Piastri didn't have to give back the position for Norris. But then again, this is where we're getting into so many different scenarios. What if, for Norris, he didn't have the disqualification, the DNF in Zandvoort, etc., etc. But then you could go back to Verstappen and go, well, what if he didn't have that temper tantrum in Barcelona? What if Antonelli's got his name in quite a bit of this. Antonelli didn't crash into Verstappen in Austria. In F1, things happen to you, and things happen because of you. And if we go over all of this, you're going to find out that everyone had their unlucky moments this season, from Piastri, Verstappen, Norris. And you just have to take all of that and just go with it and see who ends up winning it. And this time out, it was Lando Norris. But again, with Verstappen coming first, he put a statement down showing, yeah, I'm the best on the grid. Norris might have won the championship, very deservedly so. But yeah, Verstappen, even that comeback, just alone, not even to win the championship, will be remembered, I think, not as nearly as much as the World Championship being for Norris, but it will be the second best thing everyone remembers of this season. It will be like, oh, Lando Norris won the championship, and oh, do you remember how close Verstappen came to winning it, considering how far away he was after Zandvoort? Those are the 2 things I think everyone is going to talk about. Oh, and a Carlos Sainz podium. Well, 2 Carlos Sainz podiums. So it was just so brilliant to watch. And considering this was a race where we didn't have any DNFs as well, which is normally where a lot of this chaos comes in through. No DNFs, 0 safety cars. and it was still a half decent race. So if we head over to my rankings, I think I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I'm not going to be completely biased here because obviously I tried to take it out of the sense of that, of course, with the championship stuff going down, it's going to be an exciting race. It could have been Baku levels of nothing happening, and with the championship contenders just being there, it made it exciting. However, on its own racing situation, it was a good 8 out of 10, 100% for me. It wasn't as good as something like a Silverstone, it wasn't as good as something like a Brazil, but it was a very good race to end off the season, and I can't believe we have to wait all of this excitement from yesterday to now being Monday. And this is the first day of the winter break. And it's so long till F1 comes back. We've got to wait till end of Feb, March time. But, I just want to thank all of you for watching my videos throughout the year. The channel has seen some big growth. We're about 3,300 subscribers. I just can't thank you all enough. There is going to be some important news for the channel heading into, I'd probably say January time. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to be updating everything for what 2026 will look like. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It will just be what the F1 Fantasy content looks like, what the normal F1 content looks like. I'll just be going over what my idea for the year ahead will look like. So I want to update you all on it. And hey, stay tuned for the winter break because I have some very, very fun F1 content coming out. Of course, it's not going to be my usual F1 Fantasy or Everything You Need to Know videos, but just like last year when in the winter break I made quite a lot of historic videos, I've got a few ideas for videos to make, some silly ones that are more just, I just want to have fun. Like I think there's one where I'm just going to try out some F1 drivers' favourite snacks. Like that's just more because I just want to try. That's more just because I want to eat food. So we've got some silly ideas like that. And then more serious ones. I'll do a few more historic videos. I'll do my F1 Fantasy in-year review, what they should change about F1 Fantasy. So plenty of content to still come out on this channel. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Again with these videos, very low editing. I like doing that for the race reviews. Just getting my thoughts out. Just letting you all hear what I think about what's going on in the world of F1. But hey, thank you all so much for watching. Here's to a brilliant 2026. Happy holidays, everyone. And hey, I'll see you all very soon. Take care.